Alrighty, so today we're gonna go ahead, take a break on the Coyote swap, and work on this freaking thing. So I got my transmission. This is what's gonna be replacing the horrible sounding transmission that's in this thing. It actually drove great, but just making a really gnarly grinding noise. So got the car up on jacks. Gonna go ahead and just start removing the exhaust, drive shaft, any kind of interferences in this thing right now, so we can finally get this thing running and driving properly and finally start installing all the good visual parts. But I'll make that a second episode. That way it's its own standalone. But yeah, so lift it up. Looks like plenty high for now to work under. I might have to lift it up a little bit higher, judging by the height of that transmission. I don't know if it will clear, especially on the jack. So I think for now it's plenty high enough. And then if I gotta lift it up a little bit higher, I still got plenty of room to go on those jack stands. Cool, so let's get out. Okay, and just like that, we have the drive shaft and the exhaust removed. Currently draining the the oil out of the trans. Try and get that to be a little bit lighter, but this is how the magnet came out. This transmission has less than a mile of drive time on it. When I first pulled the drain plug, when I flushed out the fresh oil that I had just put in it, this thing came out just filled with material, and you can tell that there's still just a ton of metal debris inside that transmission, because I didn't drive this car more than just up and down the street. So clearly this transmission is not long for this world. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. Hopefully this other transmission is a lot better and a lot quieter. So all right, let's go ahead and start loosening up these bolts on the engine and get the shifter out. That way I can drop it without getting that caught up on a bunch of stuff. All right, and just like that, in about an hour and a half, Buddy helped me remove the trans. So it's not a whole lot to it. You just have 2 top bolts, your starter bolt, and then 2 bottom bolts. So since this is a newer trans, it has some extra bolts, but my motor doesn't use those. So luckily this one looks like it's a matching trans. After deciphering the serial code, it looks like it's the exact same gear ratio, but there's only one way to find out. So next order of business is to transfer a couple little parts off of this transmission onto this one, like the shifter. It's missing one linkage that is over here. So looks like it's missing this guy down here, or it might be completely different. Oh no, yeah, so it looks like it's just some bolts on the bottom, and then the bracket comes out and it's this lower piece of the shifter. I think I'm gonna go ahead and probably remove this one. I'll look at the bushing, see how good this one is, because that one almost looks like it's slightly bent from rolling around on the back of my truck. So pull these off, and then once we got the transmission in, I'll come and steal the cross member off of this one. I think it'll be a lot easier to put it in without the cross member. Might roll around on the transmission or on the jack, but we'll try and hold it steady. But all right, now transmission, swap parts, back in the car. All right, well, I have successfully evaded having my skull crushed by the transmission, but it did not come without its sacrifices. I got completely covered in transmission oil because we forgot to drain it. But good news is that the oil was clean. So that seems like it's probably a pretty healthy transmission. So it's already damn near there. We have about 1.5 inches to go. So it looks like the shaft is already starting to line up or spline with the clutch. Finish sliding that in, bolt up the cross member, and then we can start putting all the accessories back in that we removed, like all the sensors, the exhaust, the starter, put that all back in, and we should be able to test this out hopefully tonight. All right, sweet. So we got the cross member back in. Transmission tightened down. We got the axles into the transmission with the pins. Drive shaft in. Boom, boom, boom. And even the pinion cover. So now just to add this little heat shield. back in this little area so it doesn't kill the shifter boot, and add the exhaust, and I think we should be able to start it. All right, we got a transmission. Go second. Sick. All right, sick. Sounds way better than the last one. So we don't have no more rock grinding. So now we can officially open these brand new wheels up and we can do some visual mods. But the transmission is a little low. I do need about another half quart, but I ran out of fluid. But I think it's enough to try and test drive it now for real on the street. So I'm gonna go ahead, pop it off the jack stands and lower it back down and see how the test drive goes. All right, here goes. First test drive. I might have a small vacuum leak, but oh, way better. This thing needs an alignment really bad. But it's working, and the speedometer works. Alright, almost been coming. Oh yeah. Way better. Before it sounded like we had rocks in the transmission. But alright, I think we can officially call this done and go get some pizza. Alrighty, so I'm gonna continue driving this thing around, just doing a couple laps here and there around the neighborhood and see how this thing drives. Third gear, fourth gear, everything feels good. Alright, we got our pizza. Car made it. Sorta. I think I just have a small vacuum leak. So tomorrow we'll just figure out what the little issue is going on there. I think it's just a vacuum leak, something simple, something stupid. And adjust the e-brake cable because it's a little on the loose side, but everything seems to be working just fine. So there it is. Catch you guys later.